All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. I pray the Lord have peace, blessings, and mercy upon the households of the elect. This is the brother Shema One from the Great Millstone Houston Church. And today I'm going into this article from Natural News. And inside this article, it shows you how, the government is pushing the control over your children, to get your children out of your hands under your parental guidance and have them into their hands if you don't cooperate with what they push. So, with that being said, you could see how, the target is on the children and how they want to control how parents, give that parental guidance toward their children. So with that being said, I'm going to hit this article and grab a few precepts, and I pray it'll be edifying to the Lord's elect. 144. Let's go. Call Allah Yahweh Shem Shah. So it says, California bill will charge parents who reject transgenderism with child abuse. And this is today on Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. It says, from Natural News, the recently passed Assembly Bill 957 in California was quietly amended after hours to include a new requirement that parents in the Golden State must now be affirming, which means basically encouraging, upholding, or uplifting, right? Emotionally supporting. So it says, include a new requirement that parents in the Golden State must now be affirming of their children's sexual transitions or else face potential child abuse charges. And mind you, the child can be a minor if he decides to change his sex. He can be a minor child, so young as if you can't even bathe yourself correctly. You don't even know how to wipe yourself right, or brush your teeth yet, or fix your food for yourself, or provide for yourself. But you being a minor and you can't do none of those things for yourself, but you can make a right decision on what sex you want to be. And Esau pushes they promote and push and advertise, what they want. Every commercial you see, it will be a transformer. Every commercial you'll see, it will be some weird shit. A woman with a man's voice, or a man with a woman's voice, a man with women characteristics, and, the opposite. That's heavily pushed on the YouTube, the shit that your children watch, the shit that they entertain themselves with. So, we already know, but they're pushing that even more to the fact where off of YouTube, off of the TV, off of the gaming systems, outside of the music, shit. If your child is in an organization, school, church, whatever the fuck, program, after school program, summer program, if they're being pushed and, they tell you that they want their sex to be changed and you give them that correction from the scriptures, which is, boy, you got your foot. Let me not even get started. But you know what I'm saying? If you don't agree with it, right? That child could go back and tell that organization, or even if they catch wind or hear it, your response of anything negative to that decision, the government can take your child away from you, man. These are the days that we're living in. Hey, that's why people who say, the law is done away with and the law doesn't matter. If you have that mind that the law is done away with, you are a wicked nigga. You are a wicked individual, and you agree with shit like this. I don't give a damn how many days you go to church or how many days you pray to Jesus or feed the homeless. If you think the law should be done away with, you agree with shit like this. Because guess what? The law is against acts like these. But anyway, it says, It says, in order to comply with California's official standards of parental responsibility and child welfare, AB 957, with the new amendment that was added post passage by the state assembly, parents must affirm their children's gender identity as part of the health, safety, and welfare of the child. That is wicked. How is it that you're encouraging and, pushing your child to change their gender? That is pure wickedness. Habakkuk 1:4, it says, therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. So, that's why these things take place on the earth. Because the righteous are compassed about the wicked. Or Salaki, it says, for the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Yeah, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. The wicked, according to Malachi 1:4, are none other than the Edomites, the self-proclaimed white people. The wicked, man. Esau is weird as fuck. And I'm saying that like literally right now, looking out my window, a Edomite just jumped out his truck. This nigga's laying on the ground and calling a stray cat to him. Random as hell, bro. That's Esau shit. But sticking to this, it says, so, where was I? Okay, let's continue in the article. It says the change represents a fundamental alteration to California Family Code, which will now cater exclusively to LGBT affirming parents in custody cases. So if you are going through a custody battle, with your spouse, to see who gets custody over the child, and along that way, that child wants to be a different gender, and one parent agrees with it and one parent disagrees with it, guess what? By default, that child is going with the parent who approves of that abomination, man. Or say you got both parents that disagree with it, your child will belong to the state. These are the days we're living in. These are the days that we are living in, man. Going back to that Habakkuk 1:4. Does that precept not fit the times that we're living in? Let me keep reading. It says the change represents. Okay, I already read that. Okay, right here. It says, should a trans child end up torn between two separate or divorced parents, judges will now only side with the trans affirming parent, or in the event that neither parent is affirming, the child will be handed over to the state. California courts would be given complete authority under Section 3011 of California's Family Code to remove a child from his or her parents' home if parents disapprove of LGBTQ plus ideology, reports the Daily Signal. So, you can't parent your children. You're basically, you have to raise your child according to whatever the government pushes. So if the government pushes that your child can make up their mind whether or not they want to be a boy or a girl, you have to agree with it. You have to agree with it in order to, to stay away from the court taking away your child. If you're brought to the court, this shit is wicked, man. And you can only see how much weirder and how much more evil is going to come forth from, bills like this being pushed. Yeah, we reading about it in California, but guess what? That shit gonna be on the East Coast. It's soon gonna be in the South. I guarantee you it's soon gonna be in Texas, and up north, man. The wickedness of the wicked is like a cancer. It spreads. It's like that leaven. It spreads, man, throughout the whole earth. That's why Yahweh Shah is coming back to take crowns to put these niggas down to the fucking ground, man, where they belong. And if you are one of those people who push that, you know, the law is done away with, well, if you say the law is done away with, nigga, you agree with shit like this because according to the law, this is against the law. The law does not put up with shit like this. So it says, continuing on, it says, by changing the definition of what constitutes the health, safety, and welfare of a child, schools, churches, hospitals, and other organizations interacting with children would be required to affirm gender transitions in minors by default or risk charges of child abuse. So guess what? Hey, you got your child in a summer camp at the Y, Boys and Girls Club, or wherever the fuck they are. If you don't rock this, guess what? These organizations, they have to. And whenever they get children who are so corrupted and fucked up by the system, if they push that shit on your children and your child comes back to you telling you about this shit and you nip it in the bud and they go back and tell on you, guess what? Your child could be removed from you. This is the world that we live in. So these organizations that you feel so safe to give your children over to for whoever knows how many hours throughout the day. And sometimes you don't even have a choice, you know, due to your job and your situation. You have to have people watching your children for you. So just imagine just imagine how much more evil and tight it's about to be around this. So it says they have to affirm, they have to agree with it. They have to support this. And it said in minors, they have to by default. The fact that your child is still in school, right? Or in one of these organizations, a child, man, a minor at that. How in the hell do you have to just bow down to your child's decision? You know, they're taking order out of the family. You know, once again, you know, in Sirach, the 30th chapter goes into how fathers ought to be with their sons. You know, which is this is totally against the scriptures. But I got a bit more on this. It says, let me see. Okay. It says parental rights are gone in California. The state now owns your children. Another thing the amended version of AB 957 does is expand which organizations can now provide evidence of gender non-affirmation to California's courts. So they got organizations who basically are on the lookout to see if they can get evidence on if parents are not pushing the encouragement behind that child's decision. You know, parents who aren't with that. You know, so they have shit in line for those to get evidence on you and in your household if you don't agree with this. You know, which isn't any of their fucking business in the first place. You know, what goes in your house, that's what goes on in your house. But Esau wants to be as the Most High. He wants to have all control over all people. So it says the addition of gender affirmation is to its tenets means that the court system can now accept reports of gender abuse from far left extremist groups just so long as they claim to provide services of victims of sexual assault or domestic violence. One example of how this may play out is a young boy who reports his non-affirming parents to his local school's gay/straight alliance club or whatever other similar organizations are present. That club or organization can then report the boy's parents to the courts to the Salakia. Let me read that last part again. It says, whatsoever other similar organizations are present, that club or organization can then report the boy's parents to the courts for child abuse, potentially resulting in his being forcibly separated from his parents by the government. So they want control over your household. The man can no longer make decisions in his house. Your child does. If it is on, if it's on this note. So it says, let me go down to here. It says the bill makes no distinctions. It says the bill makes no distinctions regarding the age of a child, but you have to be 21 to buy liquor. You have to be over 18 to buy cigarettes, right? But you can change your sex. It says the bill makes no distinctions regarding the age of a child, how long a child has identified as transgender, or affirmation of social transition versus medical sex change treatments. Further pointed out Susanna Luthai of the Washington Free Beacon. So, bro, this shit is getting, it's just like the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, because it told you they had old men and young men. So even the youths were already, fucking polluted and gone. It's nothing new. I'll read this last little part. It says, at this current time, there are now laws or other, let me see if this was one. Now I'll end it right there. That was the point of that article. Now let me get some scriptures on, just how the Lord is going to deal with such acts like this. What was that? Jude 1 and 7. This is the book of Jude, chapter 1 and verse 7. Hold on real quick. Okay, Jude 1 and 7, it says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Because, the act of going after strange flesh, that's an abomination. Fornication, adultery, all those acts are abomination. But focus on the point of the article that I brought out. If you are a boy, you're born a male, then you decide to get a sex change into a female, who do you think is going to be attracted to you when it comes to the act of sex? And who is that person who had the surgery or that procedure done to themselves? Who do you think they're going to target when it comes to, the act of sex? They're going to target the same gender because that's who the fuck they are. And that's going to cause people to go after strange flesh. And the result of that is you're going to suffer the vengeance of an eternal fire. Your ass will be burnt up whenever the Lord returns. You're going to suffer the missiles, or you're going to suffer the fire that's going to come out of those chariots. This things like this need to be put out of the earth. Let me get this in 2 Peter, and I'll close out with this. 2 Peter chapter 2. And I'll start at verse 6. It says, in turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. So we already have the example of what the Lord does to people who do shit like this and go after strange flesh and do strange shit. That's not natural, because the outcome of such acts like what I just read in that article is going to result into those individuals going after strange flesh, just adding more confusion. But hey, we have the example. We have the history of what the Lord does to people and to whole cities like this that do shit like this. So, hey, we already know Babylon is about to be destroyed. It's just a matter of time. So with that being said, I pray edification came out unto the Lord's elect. Again, I want to give our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Hey, Shalom.